You know, SVS is really known for their subwoofers, which pack a lot of power and offer some serious performance, which basically means a lot of bass in your face. And the Ultra line of speakers they make, which are their flagship speakers, have been on the market for a while now, but I've never had the chance to actually audition them for myself until now. So after having the towers and the center channel speakers as part of my setup for all this time, how good are they really, and what are my thoughts on them? Well, stick around. Hey guys, it's the Villaman here, home theater enthusiast and lover of all things tech. And on this channel, we review, demo, and compare the tech that entertains you. And today we're talking about the SVS Ultra Towers and center channel speakers. Now, I've been asked by a number of you to take a look at them and share my thoughts on how they perform. And so far, I've published both a music and movie demo of them. So if you're interested to hear them for yourself in my room with all the caveats that recording and watching online dictates, then you should definitely listen for yourself to hear just how impressive they are. But let's not jump ahead to performance yet. Before, let's talk a little bit about the specs so that those of you who are unfamiliar with them are brought up to speed. Now, these I think are some very unique looking speakers, and that's because of the bass drivers in the bass. Now, it has two 6.5-inch composite glass fiber mid-range drivers flanking a 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter in the middle, which sits behind a protective housing. I mentioned its unique look, and that's because of the additional dual opposing 8-inch woofers mounted on each side of the base of the speakers. The tower itself measures 45.5 inches high, 13.8 inches wide, and 16.8 inches deep at the base, which is its deepest point. It comes in a black piano gloss like the one I have here, and also a black oak veneer, which I actually prefer. Although it has a classier look, the glossy finish tends to be both a dust and fingerprint magnet, as well as the fact that it may create some reflections from your display, especially in a dark room. So I am all in on Team Black Oak, or any matte finish for that matter. It also has some peg attached speaker grills, which I'd rather them be magnetic, especially in this price range, but I wouldn't keep them on either way, so I guess it doesn't really matter much in my case. You might feel differently though. As far as the design goes, SVS calls it a 3.5-way design as opposed to the typical and more popular 2.5-way or 3-way speaker design because of the interesting way that they handle the crossovers. Now, the two 6.5-inch drivers each have their crossover points at 160 Hz and 2 kHz, so they handle the lower mid-range to the upper mid-range frequencies, while the tweeter handles everything above 2 kHz and the dual 8-inch woofers in the base handle everything below 160 Hz. But I did mention the interesting way that they handle the crossover, and that's because the two 6.5-inch mid-range drivers each handle a portion of the mid-range frequencies, so at 700 Hz is where the audio transitions between the two of them. So that's why they call it a 3.5-way design. Are you still with me? Good. So does that actually mean anything? Well, they made it that way so that it maintains the clarity even when it's being pushed really hard. So with that said, how does it actually perform? Well, I had the speakers being driven by my Denon X4300H receiver and being powered by the Parasound A52 Plus power amplifier, and that amplifier provides more than enough power to drive them to some unhealthy levels of listening. And the sound? Well, these are reference quality speakers in every sense of the word. They had an impactful kind of authority in the sound they created, especially when watching movies. The tweeter is on the warm side of neutral and is very detailed. If you've seen my review of the Prime Pinnacle speakers, which is also from SVS, then you'll know I'm a big fan of the tweeter, which they both share. It's clear and detailed enough to handle both effects and voicing simultaneously in movies and bring out the nuances in music without ever sounding harsh or bright for that matter. The tweeter and mid-range do a really good job conveying details, whether it be in blockbuster action movies like Ready Player One, which I actually demoed in the movie demo, which turned out to be a a really interesting case because I did it with and without a subwoofer. And even without a subwoofer, it had some really nice low-end bass, but of course it wasn't enough to actually replace a dedicated subwoofer. I actually haven't heard any speaker that can do that yet, but it still sounded really impressive. Vocals in music also came across very well. Things like female voices were smooth and clear, and instruments were really convincing with great bass that wasn't overpowering. That's also in part thanks to the Ultra Center channel speaker, which did everything asked of it. Even in really challenging scenes I like to use for testing, like the intro to Wonder Woman, where the bass was rumbling through the center channel while she was narrating, there wasn't a hint of distortion. And that's been the general performance characteristics of the Ultra line throughout my time with it. Stereo imaging was really good, though I didn't think it was quite as good as the Arendelle 1723s, which had their tweeters recessed in a waveguide. It was still really good though. The towers have a single 3.5-inch port in the back, and I ran some frequency response tests of both speakers from my main listening position in both sealed and ported mode, and the sealed measurements is represented by the red chart while the ported is represented in green. And what I found is that the speakers really do have some great response down below 30 Hz thanks to those dual opposed woofers. And 30 Hz is where they start to roll off. And in ported mode, it has more output than in sealed mode, which is to be expected. Now, it's important to note that these measurements were taken at the main listening position, so the frequency response chart will look different in my room than it does in your room. That said, I've used the speakers extensively without a sub enabled, and if you're in the kind of environment where you can't have a sub, I think it does a really good job with the low-end reproduction. But how these speakers really come alive is with some good dedicated power and paired with a good sub. With that, it makes for a phenomenal experience. You just have to make sure you don't mind the shape of it. So who are these speakers for? Well, they're for anyone with a medium to large size room who wants really capable full range speakers that don't add coloration to the content you're watching and can definitely create an immersive experience even without a subwoofer. Then these speakers should be on your shortlist. Let me know your thoughts about these speakers in the comments below and if they're on your shortlist. Thanks for watching, and thanks to SVS for sending these out for review. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, this has been your friendly neighborhood Villaman saying be safe and peace.